Hi, let's try that again. I have no idea how to set up my camera because I haven't streamed or recorded things in quite a few months now. One of the main reasons I wanted to film this video is because I've got a very interesting questions from one of you guys. They asked me, which one do you think is harder, digital art or physical? When I saw their question, I started thinking about it. I personally come from a traditional background and I switched to digital relatively recently because there was a layer of resistance. I forgot to take my headphones off. I was doing a test recording and I would put my headphones on top of my head. Anyway, back to the topic of the video. I was saying there was a layer of resistance because it's just completely different mediums. I first switched to a regular tablet. I'll show you the magic of editing. The tablet that I own is Huion Inspiroi, old one. It cost me about, I think back in the day, $90. It might be cheaper now. And that's what I started with. It was really difficult to get used to. Then I got used to it. And in the end of last year, my friend gifted me her old iPad. And I switched to using an iPad. To be honest with you, even switching from one tablet to another, one software to another is a bit of a challenge because you need to get used to things. For me, Procreate was such a beast that I thought I would never be able to tame, but I managed to, I think. Which one do I think is harder, digital or traditional art? Thing is, both are hard in a way, and there are things that are easier in one than the other. For example, when I was studying traditional art, I went to super quick traditional art program. It was only 3 years, so I do not have full traditional art education as I wish I had, but I did have a 3 years extensive course. It was really difficult to start because you need to do all those fundamentals, all the boring stuff, learn how to draw the circle, learn how to draw a box, draw the objects that you find quite boring. I used to find boring drawing those marble things, you get white marble things, you need to draw them as a part of your art education. And perspective has been a very tough one for me. I think I have gotten better since I started 3D modeling, because 3D modeling just once you start 3D modeling, you feel things differently in a space. Other things that can be harder in traditional art is that you cannot undo. You cannot just spam an undo button there. You don't have beloved liquify tool. You do not have a lot of functions that make digital artists' life much easier. At the same time, when you create digitally, you get access to a lot of things that can make your workflow so much quicker. I think difficult things is you forget how to use a pencil quite quickly. I recently did a Johnny Joestar sketch and I realized that, only if I had liquify tool like I have in Procreate, I would have fixed the drawing and made it look so much better. With digital art, you get that. You can fix things very quickly, very efficiently, and make it look amazing. Other things with digital art that can be harder, it's getting used to software, buying your first tablets maybe. You don't have to own an iPad to create digitally. Entry level for digital art, I think, can be a bit better than for traditional art, because for traditional art, you need to spend a lot on materials, especially if you want to paint. Digital painting can be cheaper for you than traditional painting. And I think what took me time when I switched to digital art from traditional is understanding layers and how they work, understanding different states of layers like multiply, hard light, mix, and everything. That did take me some time because in traditional art you don't get those things. Yeah, you have layering in a sense, not like that. And I think only this year I learned how to use clipping mask. Please no hate, because I genuinely switched to digital art quite recently. I was not serious about it until last year. I was still sketching and drawing a lot in traditional and try to feel how it is in digital art. Yeah, I tried also different softwares, just try to see what I like better. I think with my Huion tablet, I preferred using Photoshop, but when I got an iPad, I started using Procreate because I felt like, oh, I have this great tool and it feels criminal to not learn how to use it and not use it. So yeah, entry level, depending on what you do, can be a bit more accessible with digital because I know a lot of young people draw on their phones. I find it fascinating because I can do nothing with my with my finger on my phone. I think if you gave me a stylus, like a little pencil for your phone, I could draw something, but with my finger I don't have the skill to do it. And there are a bunch of cheap tablets right now. If you just enter in regular pencil work, it's not that expensive. You can get different softness/hardness pencils and start with that to learn the fundamentals. What is harder, if you ask me? From my personal experience, for me, traditional art is harder. In traditional art, materials cost a lot of money. If you want to buy a canvas, canvases are expensive. If you want to buy new paints, paints are expensive. If you mess up and you try to erase it, sometimes you get the little indents, marks that you cannot draw over anymore. You just have to get a new piece of paper, a new canvas, and it's really easy to mess up. Digital art gives you more freedom to experiment, make mistakes, because you can fix them very quickly and easily. With traditional art, of course you can make mistakes. It just feels like it's more effort to fix them. At the same time, I feel like if you get your traditional art skills to a good level, you can semi-confidently draw with just a pen rather than pencil without erasing. You will have much easier time transition into digital art. That has been my experience so far. I would like to hear from people who tried switching from digital art to traditional, how their experience has been, as I can't talk from that perspective, as I have not switched from digital to traditional. Only thing I can say is that when I don't do traditional art for a long time, I only focus on digital, I start feeling that my pencil work is not as great and my color picking becomes a bit more lazy, and I just start fearing the paper more because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna mess up, and then if I want to erase it, I get the eraser marks. It's just a waste of paper, the waste of materials. I start feeling this way. I'm not sure if other artists are like that. That has been my yapping so far. Just to sum it up, both are hard, both have pros and cons. For me, traditional art feels harder to do. I would like to hear other people's perspectives on that. Let's open a discussion. Just please remember to be friendly and respectful. Share your thoughts and experiences. Especially, I would like to hear from people who started with digital art and tried to learn traditional art. How has your journey been? Is there anything you would like to suggest for people who are trying to learn traditional art after years of doing digital art? Thank you so much for watching. It's my first time in a while doing this like just yapping video. Especially showing my face doesn't feel as comfortable as it used to be before because I haven't done it in a while. Please let me know if you like these types of videos, if you would like to see more of that. I will try and do more long format videos. I can also talk about my 3D modeling experience more, about how I studied it, about my workflow, and about, you know, how I complete my projects. Whatever, just let me know if there are any topics you would like me to talk about, and if you would like to see videos of me studying and giving maybe some tips of how to, I don't know, study 3D modeling, whatever, just get on with it. I'm joking. It can be challenging, especially in the very beginning. Everything you start, traditional art, digital art, it can be intimidating, but I'm sure you can do it. See you in the next one. Bye bye.